Hello, my name's Mike Baxter, and I'm the Assistant County Commissioner for Top Awards for Hampshire Scouts. And in this session, I'm going to be talking about A Million Hands, the Scout Community Impact Programme, and how you and your young people can get involved with the project. This session is going to cover a number of things to enable you to get started with the project. First of all, we're going to have a brief introduction to what A Million Hands is and how it works. We're going to talk about the charity partners, which have been chosen by the Community Impact Group, and the themes that they represent. We're going to talk about how young people can get involved with social action through the 5 steps and how that can help them to get their Community Impact Badge and make a real difference within their community. We're going to talk about how A Million Hands links to the Sustainable Development Goals. We're also going to then get involved with how you could choose a theme using a tool with your young people and get started with a community impact project to allow them to get their badge. And finally, we're going to talk about 20 Minutes to Change the World, which is a project that will relaunch A Million Hands after coronavirus. So the first section of this presentation is about what A Million Hands is. So A Million Hands is essentially a project that allows Scouts to take social action and make a real difference in their community. As there's around about 500,000 Scouts in the UK, we call it A Million Hands. Because they have a million hands and they're going to be helping people in their community. The charity partners are chosen by a group of young people called the Community Impact Group. Those young people are aged 15 to 25 and are chosen and serve a term of 3 years. And they support the charities in being able to produce relevant resources for young people for all sections, from the very youngest right up to Network Scouts. There is a really good range of activities produced by the charities to support you to allow your young people to make a decision on what they want to do to take action in their community. It's all about removing social barriers, connecting communities, and improving lives. So Scouts are always striving to leave the world a little bit better than they found it. From when Scouts started, and we've heard, if you go back in time into the First and Second World War, Scouts were doing various things to support their community during these very, very difficult times. And the drive to do this continues to this day. Themes, the problems, the issues that the world is dealing with have changed, but the Scouts are still there making a real difference. The aim of A Million Hands is to provide ready-made activities and programme ideas on 6 themes chosen by young people and relevant to the world today. So we're going to start off by watching a short video that will summarise in 30 seconds what the A Million Hands programme is about.
We're born into a world that seems to revolve around us. And what we soon learn the hard way is this. Existence is a privilege. It is not infinite, and it is not exclusive. It is yours, and it's ours, and it's theirs. So we must use this privilege to truly live and leave behind a better world. With A Million Hands, we're committed to improving people's lives and protecting our planet while there's still time. Over the last 100 years, the issues we've tackled have evolved and changed, but our drive to make a positive impact remains. Now, the world needs our help more than ever before. A Million Hands, leaving the world better than we found it.
So in the next section, we're going to have a look at who the charity partners are and what the themes are that the young people have chosen as part of this project. So here are the first 3 partners. So the World Wildlife Fund, a really, really known charity, has got the theme of protecting the environment. So our natural world is a threat like never before. With a little help from the WWF, we're going to look at restoring habitats, bringing species back from the brink, and tackling the root causes of nature's decline, such as climate change. So there's a real project there about trying to do things in the community, make wild spaces in your garden, and help the wildlife to thrive. The second charity, which is Crisis, is Crisis and the Simon Community, is about ending homelessness. So homelessness isn't inevitable. With the right solutions in place, we can build a fairer society where no one is without a safe home to call their own. Partnering with Crisis and the Simon Community, we're enhancing young people's understanding of factors that contribute to homelessness and try and end homelessness for good. So a really good project all about homelessness. The third charity is Save the Children, and they do a range of things, but in this case, we're going to be looking at supporting refugees and displaced children. So it's going to look at how ensuring that children, wherever they are, grow up in a safe and secure environment. Partnering with Save the Children to combat stereotypes and raise awareness of the issues displaced children face, building and welcoming communities and connecting Scouts in conflict affected areas. So there'll be opportunities there to actually link with Scouts around the world and to think about the refugees and displaced children. The second charities are about men. The second three charities start with Mind. So Mind obviously represent mental health. 1 in 10 young people in the UK suffer with a mental health problem that could stop them experiencing life to the fullest. But with some support, that doesn't have to be the case. So Mind, SAMH and Inspire are all empowering Scouts to take good care of their mental health now and in the future. The next partner is around disabilities. The National Autistic Society is representing the Scouts in this space. So public understanding of disability has come a long way, but there's a lot to be done to increase opportunities, reduce social isolation, create spaces where everyone can thrive. So we want to make sure that as Scouts, we're inclusive. So with support from the National Autistic Society, we're going to look at how we can make the world more considerate, particularly for people with autism. And the final charity partner is the British Red Cross, and they're going to be looking at kindness in every community. So every act of kindness, whether it be collecting things for food banks, keeping in touch and making people feel less lonely, or preparing for emergencies through first aid and preparing for floods and other disasters, they're going to work with the Red Cross to ensure that everybody has the help that needs it. So 6 really good themes there chosen by young people. So there is a really good video lasting around about 9 or 10 minutes, which we're going to show at the end of this presentation. And these are members of the Community Impact Group talking about why those themes have been chosen and how they're relevant today. So you can have a look at that towards the end of this presentation. So the next section is going to be looking at taking social action. How can we use these themes to allow young people to take social action, make a real difference in their community? So there are 5 steps to taking social action, which form part of the Community Impact Badge. The first one is to identify the need. What is the need we're trying to meet? Learning more about the theme, so learning more about homelessness or learning more about autism or disability. Once they've learned something about the theme, they're going to plan what they're going to do in their community to help others. So this section is all about planning their action. Having planned their action, they're then going to do their project, get down and actually get involved with it. Once they've done their project, they're going to look and learn and reflect on what they've learned and how they can make more change. And finally, how they're going to tell the world about it. So we'll look at each of these steps in a little bit more depth. So the 5-step process, the first step is around understanding the need. So helping young people to build empathy and have a real understanding of the issue. And each charity partner has produced a range of activities, which involve activities like walking debates, quizzes, discussions, to allow them to know a little bit more about the theme. The second is about planning action. So they need to think about who they're going to help and how they're going to make a real difference to the community that surrounds them. So there's various activities and ideas that have already been provided by the charities, or they can choose their own project that they would like to do. Once they plan their project, they're going to actually roll up their sleeves and take that practical action. So they're going to have to think about how they're going to do that action, how they're going to make sure they've got the right resources, and how they're going to make a real difference to others. Once they've done their action, they're going to reflect on it, do a bit of an evaluation, think about what they've learned and the skills and knowledge that have gone into that activity, and how they're going to encourage others to get involved as well, maybe other members of their community, or maybe other sections within their scout group. And finally, going to tell the world. They're going to celebrate what they've done and ask others to help amplify the message, maybe through social media, maybe through the media or the press, or maybe through just raising awareness with their community. So this all links into the Community Impact Stage Badge. There's 4 stages to the Community Impact Badge, and you'll recognise the requirements very closely linked to the steps. So the first requirement is to do that identify the need activity. It could be a local, national or international need, and it could be within a million hands, or it could be something else, a theme that they choose for themselves. The second one again is to plan that action, to decide what the issue is and what difference they're going to make. Then they're going to take the action, and depending on which stage of the Community Impact Badge will depend on how many hours they're going to do. So the first stage of the badge, they need to complete 4 hours of action on their chosen issue, spread over at least 3 months, working as a team with their community, with their section, to help the community. Once they've done their action, they're then going to learn and make more change. So discussing what they've done and how it's developed them, and what more they could do to help their community. And finally, that tell the world about actually understanding why the action they took was important, what they did, and how others can help as well. And then you can see there the 4 stages. So for the second stage, it's 12 hours of activity over 6 months. For the third stage, it's 24 hours of activity over 9 months. And the last stage is 48 hours of activity over 12 months. And that last stage can definitely link into things like the Queen Scout Award. So that may be done with one of the older sections. But any of these badges can be accessed by any of the sections. So these also link to other awards. So when you have a look on the website, you'll see that the activities that have been produced by the charity partners have actually been linked to the various awards. It's also worth noting that young leaders can use the awards towards their community section of their Chief Scout Platinum, Diamond or Queen Scout Award. So young leaders can actually encourage other sections to take action in their community. And then it becomes a really youth-led young person leading young people to take action to make a difference. The network members have a very unique badge called the Scout of the World Award, and that could also be linked to one of the partners. The Scout of the World Award is a project where they do an 80-hour discovery weekend, and then they have to do an 80-hour project linked to either peace, sustainability, or the environment. So they link really well with some of the themes that are part of A Million Hands. And you can find out more about that at www.scouts.org.uk/SOA, SOWA. So these link in with the Sustainable Development Goals. So the United Nations is a member organization linked up with almost every country in the world, 193 states to be precise. And they work to develop friendly relationships among nations and achieve international cooperation. One of the 2030 Agenda of Sustainable Development, adopted by all the members in 2015, looks at a number of sustainable development goals, and they're a call of action to basically help end poverty and ensure that health and education, inequality and economic growth, while tackling climate change and also working to preserve the environment. So the Scouts, or the Scouts for Strategic Development Goals, is one of the projects that this links in nicely to. I'm just going to show you a quick video that highlights that.
In 2015, humanity came together with a call to action for a better world by 2030. They agreed on 17 Sustainable Development Goals to end poverty, improve health and education, reduce inequalities, and tackle climate change. It's going to take the entire world to make these goals a reality. And who better to lead the charge than 50 million Scouts? You may know us as the ones who give a helping hand to the elderly, keep forests clean, run donation drives, or who are generally just good, active citizens. And have you heard of the Scouts welcoming refugees in Turkey? Or leading peace talks in Colombia? Or the ones giving thousands of students access to clean water in South Sudan? We've already completed over 1 billion hours of community service for the SDGs. Whether it's something really big or really small, we can all do something to make these goals a reality. By taking millions of local actions in almost every community, we're making the world's largest youth contribution to the SDGs. We're just trying to make this world a little better every day. We're Scouts for SDGs.
So you can see there how this links really closely with those Sustainable Development Goals. We're now going to move on to the practical how to get started with a Million Hands project. So how you might choose a theme and how you might get your section started on doing this. So there is an activity called Spoilt for Choice, which you will find at www.scouts.org.uk/community. And this basically has a resource to help you and your section choose an activity to take action on. So each activity you'll find on the website is easy to run. It tells you in advance what the things are that you'll need. In this case, pens and pencils, sticky tapes, and buckets and containers, and ping pong balls or similar item for voting, and 6 sheets of paper with one theme on each. So you can tell there's going to be a youth-led voting happening. The instructions are very easily set out. So this one in particular is before you begin, the things you need to do before to make sure you're prepared. And if you're able to have video, which we looked at earlier, available, then that's fine. If not, there's lots of other ways you can do it. Then there is the instructions. So it tells you around how to talk about the themes with the young people, and then also talk about what's important locally. And then once you've had a talk about that, then they obviously put their ping pong ball into the bucket. Once everyone's had their say, they then obviously look at how many buckets there are and how many balls are in each bucket. And if it's a close tie, you can obviously do then another vote to find out the two that were tied and which one is going to win. Of course, young people could, each section or each 6 could obviously do their own theme as well. Once they've done that, you can then start looking at the different activities. Now, each activity that runs has a reflection with it, and this is what you should be doing at the end of the section, just to allow people to reflect on what's happened during that section. And these activities are really good and well structured and very easy to run as well. So each theme has its own landing page. When you go to scouts.org.uk/community, you will find all the activities there split into the 5 different steps. All the activities can be pulled into the Scout planning tool, and they have all the resources and instructions to run each session. So you can download any worksheets or any information that is needed. Involving young leaders in the planning and running of it can count towards their top awards. As I said, that can go to their community section of their top awards. So definitely involve young leaders in the planning of it. And remember, it's youth-led. It's designed for young people to design or choose their own action they want to take. So here is an example of the Red Cross page. And you can see there, to identify the need, there is various activities from writing a kind message on bananas, painting some kindness rocks. For the older ones, doing an activity around social media and kindness, or looking at the good deed discovery and what good deeds they see being done. So we're going to finally look at the 20 minutes to change the world. And this is one of the activities. They're short activities that are going to be done in 20 minutes online, which you could do during one of your Zoom sessions if you're still doing a blended program, or you could get young people to do these independently. So this is going to work that there will be an online video series brought to you by young people, Scout ambassadors, and the Million Hand partners. The partner will introduce their organisation, explain the theme, and give you a short, sharp activity that can be done. They're suitable for everyone. You could take part yourself, or you could even run it as one of your Scout meetings. They're going to be uploaded directly to the website and available for quite a while afterwards. And then once you've had a look at that, you could even then choose a theme and get on with it. So you can see it launches on the 12th of May with the British Red Cross running a session right the way through to the 30th of June, where Mind are going to be running their session. They're all at 6 p.m. and they'll take around about 20 minutes. So please do promote that to your young people and get them to tune in and have a go at the activity which will be run. So how do I find out more? Go to scouts.org.uk/community to find out more about the A Million Hands programme and the Community Impact Badge. So as I promised at the beginning, we're now going to watch the video which features the Community Impact Group talking about why their themes are so important to them.
So yeah, kindness has always been a big thing for Scouts, obviously, and one of the themes that you're all engaging with is kindness in communities. Do you want to talk a little bit about what kindness in communities is and how you build empathy with people and why that's important to you?
Kindness is, everyone has a different view of how you can show kindness to people. And whether that is a physical act of buying a homeless person food, for example, or if that's just having a friendship where the person knows that if they have an issue, if they have a problem, you will always be there to talk to them and to help them.
It's not the nicest time at the moment, and we have a lot of just disagreements in politics and just general not very nice things going on like social media and stuff. And I think right now it's so important to have this increase of kindness and empathy and to understand people around us, because I think if we don't really understand people around us, we don't really understand ourselves or our place in society, and especially from a young age, from beaver age, that they need to start learning to be nice to people, and sharing is caring. And I think with the work that we're going to be doing, it's really going to improve the kindness, and not just in Scouting, but the ripple effect of the whole community, and hopefully the whole world will be a nicer place.
It might even be just not being judgmental in any way, as a form of kindness, of just passing someone on the street and just smiling at them, or just those little acts might make someone's day so much better than it was.
And these small acts become part of much bigger issues, and I know that one of the big themes that you're really passionate about is supporting refugees and displaced children, which is obviously a huge issue but relies on everybody being kind and open and compassionate. Do you think that there's a lot of work still to be done on awareness of this issue?
I think there's still a stigma in society. These people they're fleeing to try and pursue a better life, a life where they can live free or can live comfortably, safely. There's a scheme back home in Belfast where refugees can get access to bicycles. That allows them to be able to explore the community, to be able to visit sites, to be able to apply for jobs. So it's about having them to have some mobility in where they're living, as well as social mobility.
A lot of young people these days think that they have very little power in actually helping people because they're in different countries, or they just don't meet them in everyday life and they don't know how to support them. What Scouts in this project is able to do, it's able to give the opportunity to go out and experience of ways of helping other people, and showing that it doesn't matter of your age, religion, creed, anything, you can help anyone that needs it.
Yeah, that's really amazing. And homelessness is another theme that you guys have chosen, and again it encompasses so many things, like nationality and family situation and mental health.
I had a friend who was made homeless for about half a year. I just noticed through his time the mental health effect that sort of not having a home, all of his stuff was spread among so many different places. So I know that was of no fault of his own. It wasn't drug related, it wasn't alcohol related, and that's the massive stigma that most people link with homelessness.
And if they decide that they'd like to get a job and they'd like to start making those processes, that they need an address, but then they don't have one. And then they go to a bank. If they manage to get a job, then they go to a bank to get an account. And then the bank says, no, well, you need an address. But then they don't have an address. And so learning about it and supporting it is so important, because the people that you might stereotypically think would be there, it's anyone. It's just something happens in your life and then it gets turned upside down.
People's view of what homelessness affects in the big metropolises isn't what it actually is. It happens in the small towns, it happens in the villages, it even happens in the rural areas as well. So it's about myth busting to ensure that there's no stereotype of this is a homeless person or this is why you're homeless, because there is a huge array of reasons why it could happen.
So I've noticed that in all of the discussion around homelessness, mental health has come up a lot, and that's another theme, right? Better mental health for all.
And the problem is we've created this, as a society, we've created the problem in itself because of the stigma that used to be huge around mental health. Thank goodness it's being tackled and it's a lot smaller than it was, but it's still there, unfortunately.
I like to think of it as a balloon, that you keep bringing stuff into it, but thoughts, stuff that's going on, the pressure, but then if you don't let something out, it's just going to pop. And getting to that point is where the problems really start coming in.
It's really hard to find people that aren't struggling with mental health our age. It's such an epidemic at the moment. If we can start education on it and we can start people understanding and stopping the stigmas, one of the biggest things you can learn from scouting is independence, and not just with simple things like cooking and cleaning and look after yourself, it's mentally as well. And I think if we can spread this amazing skill that we've developed as an organisation of building each other from the ground up and spread that to our community, we could stop our generation, and the generation after us, from being just crippled from this horrible thing that's happening with young people.
Another one of your themes is the environment, right, and protecting the environment, and that is really connected to our health, like inside and outside.
Yeah, because here's the thing, like the environment is such a great tool for people with mental health. If humans keep on treating it the way they're doing, with like their single-use plastics, food waste, we're not going to have that wonderful outdoor space anymore.
We're the last generation that can actually stop our carbon emissions from being so destructive and getting to a point where we can't go back. It's kind of a shame that politicians and people aren't taking it as seriously as I think a lot of young people are trying to. And I think having 500,000 scouts across the UK saying, no, we're not okay with this, we need to do something, and actually doing stuff about it, instead of waiting for other people to do it for them, we're actually able to go out there and do it ourselves.
Like, society is aware that we need to be cutting down on plastics. Like paper straws are becoming more common.
Every single action we take in the environment and in our daily lives has an impact on people and on the environment and the biodiversity and the ecosystem.
And it's really important that like we maintain it and like do our bit to like preserve it for the future generations.
I know that our final theme that you guys have chosen to make really central to the kind of movement that you're building among young people in the Scouts is understanding disability. Could one of you explain the kinds of stigmas and misunderstandings around disability that you're really trying to confront?
Yeah, so we all know about physical disabilities, but there's such a massive stigma around autism. So I personally have autism, and a lot of people are like, oh, you don't look autistic, or you're not, or like I'm lying or something, like I have to prove that I'm autistic every time I say that. But there is so much more to be done, because obviously it's a hidden disability and people don't realise how difficult it is to live in a society that people don't understand.
Yeah, because a lot of people presume that like people with autism are badly behaved, but it's just because they don't understand what it actually is. By having people from a young age having a good understanding of what autism is, these sort of misconceptions could be avoided.
If we teach them in scouting that sort of autism is perfectly fine and it's something that we can sort of, just through small adaptations, can help and support people like through our lives. If we can ingrain that in sort of a 6-year-old's brain, that would be so powerful on society sort of 10 years down the line. Like, that would be an amazing world.
So thank you very much for listening to this presentation. And if you want to find out more, make sure you go on the website at scouts.org.uk/community, or you could drop us an email at community@hampshirescouts.org.uk. Thanks for listening, and I hope you get involved with A Million Hands soon. Take care. Goodbye.